So the picture is what we're going to look at first. Just having a picture makes you 7 times more likely to be found. That's pretty good odds. I'm surprised at how few people do have a photo out there. It's such low-hanging fruit. Just start by having one, and that's going to increase the chances of a recruiter reaching out to you.
And hopefully making it a good one.
Yes, hopefully making it a good one. And that's what we're going to talk about briefly here, is what can make it a good one. And I wanted to refer back to this experiment that we just did to show you how important that is. People are making decisions on who's ruling the free world off their selfies. Okay, so make sure your profile picture is nailed down to instantly build trust and get them to click on you, with the same goal of trying to find that balance. One of the coolest tools for doing this is photofeeler.com. This is a website where you can upload your picture and people will rate you on your picture, which can be uncomfortable, but very useful. They have different categories. They have a dating and a social, but the one we care about most is the business profile. And what they're rating people on their pictures is competence, likability, and influence. So it's interesting they chose those as the metrics when we go back to our trust and competence. It's the same thing. It's still trying to find that balance of likability and competence. Then they put influence in there, probably because of the rule of threes. But I would expect that as competence and likability goes up, influence is naturally going to go up too. Okay, so you can put your picture out there, and then you cringe as the feedback comes in.
See yours, Jeff.
Sorry, was that the same guy that you put the
Yes,
pictures up?
these are all the same guy.
That's really cool. Business, social, dating.
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of.
Then you can be strategic about what picture you use where.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I put 2 or 3 pictures out, and this is the one that got the best scores, and so I ran with it. That's why I use that everywhere. This was an engineer that used to work for me. Tried 2 different pictures just to see what would happen. And we could nitpick on some of the things he's doing in each of these, but the main thing is look how much difference there is on his perceived competence.
It's interesting, like glasses and colored shirt can really change a person's opinion about what you look like, you know, or who you are based on what you look like.
Yeah, that gut feel is very influenceable. Is that a word?
It is now.
And so the other cool thing they do at this company, though, is then they take all those scores and run some data analytics on it to see what things you should do and should not do in your profile picture. Did you want to, I think I'm...
It is kind of all about balance, too. We talk about balance quite a bit throughout today. There's a difference between no smile, because the no smile actually hurts your likability, your competence, and your influence. But having too much of a smile, like laughing, really doesn't help your competence and influence. But it helps your likability. Of course, if you're laughing, obviously you're likable. So finding a good balance of a real, genuine smile is really the best way to be. Genuine smiles usually change the structure in your face as well, and people can tell whether you're just smiling or you're really, really smiling. So it's about finding that balance and showing teeth versus no showing teeth, and just having a balance of being right in the middle.
Cool. And I think we got time. I'll show you the infographic. She can talk you through it here.
So generally speaking, on this, the teeth visible definitely helps your likability more than having it mouth closed. Maybe if you have bad teeth, maybe keep them.
That does not want to come over.
It's trying. Here you go.
There we go. Yeah, do you guys know how to tell if it's a real smile?
For the eyes?
Yeah. Eyes make a huge difference.
Your muscles around the eyes engage, and you get these crinkles. That's and like she said, your brain can tell the difference. In University of, I forget which university, they found if people see a picture of a genuine smile, they get a mood boost. But if it's a fake smile, they don't. Our brains can tell the difference.
Yeah.
So here's some of the findings that they had from people's photos.
Kind of interesting. Sunglasses hurting your likability. but and the squinching, I think, is mostly because of the smile. When you're smiling, your eyes kind of squint a tiny bit, but that definitely improves the likability and competence level of your photo.
It's cool to see how it has kind of a halo effect too. When you're smiling or squinching, competence goes up, likability goes up, influence goes up, everything goes up with being more likable. And the face one we looked at, and like she said, there's that sweet spot. If you're serious, you won't be liked. Fake smile helps some, but it doesn't do anything for competence. The genuine smile actually makes you seem more competent too. I wouldn't have thought those two would be correlated, but you nail the genuine smile and people will see you as more competent too.
Also finding a balance of where that photo is, if it shows your entire body or if it's a close-up. Generally speaking, this area is your best bet, being, so you can see your whole face as well as a little bit of your body, having the best boost in competence. And also the way you're dressed. Obviously, if you are looking for a job or you're looking to improve your professional look, you should look professional, not jeans and a t-shirt, because that definitely, it doesn't really change much your likability, but it definitely changes your competence and influence being dressed up. And the place.
Yeah, setting, they found no significant effect on the background, which surprised me.
Yeah, it is surprising.
And then editing, go easy on the edits, the filters.
There's a lot of fun filters out there. There's a time and a place for all of them.
Time and place for everything.
So,
no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's important that we focus on the little aspects of our photo to make sure that we're portraying the most competent, most likable, most influential kind of person that we can be.
Awesome. So having a genuine smile is what you probably should do. I'm going to just point out 2 shouldn't do's that I see oftentimes in profile pictures. As human beings, we all have the same universal 7 expressions. Have you guys seen Inside Out? So they had 5 of the 7. Okay, so happiness, sadness, fear, disgust, anger. And then the 2 that they didn't have characters for were contempt and surprise. I guess they didn't want a contemptuous character going around in Riley's head. These are feelings that every human being feels, and every human being shows in their face. Even people that are born blind will still show these same expressions, showing that it's something that's innate as to who we are as human beings, not just something we learn from watching people. And you notice that most of those 7, at least 5 of the 7, are negative. You got happiness, and then surprise is just kind of neutral, but the others are negative expressions. What we don't realize is sometimes we're showing a version of those negative expressions in our pictures without intending to, and that has a gut effect on how people perceive us. So I mentioned at the beginning how you might have somebody that there's just something about them you don't like. That's because of probably what you're seeing in their face. Ted Cruz ran into this. There's a whole video about his facial structure and how even when he does have a real smile, it doesn't look like a real smile because of the way his facial structure is. And so I'll hear people refer to him as whiny. And I think it's because of his structure looks more like a sadness expression. So subconsciously, we just don't like him as much. And that was working against him in the election. So one of the ones I see a lot in pictures is an asymmetrical smile or a one-sided smile. Okay. This is associated with the microexpression of contempt or a sense of superiority. And if you're really feeling contempt, it's a pretty strong emotion. Dr. Goatman, I think was his name, did a bunch of research on marriages, on what leads to successful marriages and not, and he could predict whether or not someone is going to get divorced with 93% accuracy based on whether or not he'd see contempt microexpressions. Wow. That's how deep the emotion is. And so if you're seeing that it has a very strong influence on your gut, you're either going to feel like they think they're superior to me, they think they seem condescending, or they really don't like me. That's what it can communicate. So don't do the one-sided smile in your pictures. The other one I see a lot, this one's not actually a profile picture. It's a YouTube video, but some people naturally or deliberately are opening their eyes really big in their picture. And if you remember the guy's picture that looked like he was in fight or flight, that's what this is communicating to our subconscious. So that's another one I see a lot that you'll want to avoid is the big eyes that looks like you're a deer in the headlights. Okay. Fake smile, real smile, we talked about that.
I just wanted to, before you go back,
Okay.
this one is just, you're just like, oh, that's nice. But then the next one, looking at that photo, like, you have to smile looking at it.
I like his haircut too.
So that's the other thing, is that it boosts that chemical in the brain, makes us want to show the same emotion, mirror that emotion by smiling when we see a genuine smile.